Right then, my friends, it's just gone 5 minutes past 9 here on Trickstar Radio. How are we feeling this morning? We are live inside for yet another edition of the Interview Hour. Today, we've got someone live inside the building rather than a phone interview, and it's great getting people back inside the building. A good friend of mine, someone I work with very closely on numerous different projects. He actually designed the CubCamTV logo for me. The guy is an absolute monster when it comes to graphic imaging, and of course, the A&R side as well, which we're here to talk about today. Man like Mofaux is in the building. How are you doing, sir?
Oh, I love that intro, mate. Lovely intro for me this morning. Yeah, I'm good, man. Bit early. Well, it's actually good that I'm out of bed. I said this earlier. But yeah, just waking up, had 2 coffees down. I'm feeling good.
That's what we like to hear, mate. That's what we like to hear. It's always good to see you, man. Obviously, we do the South Point show here together on the third Thursday of the month.
Third Thursday, need to remember.
I'm losing track.
I've got too many things happening each week on certain days and stuff. Yeah, third Thursday of the month, South Point.
Just keep it in the back of the head. And obviously, we could talk for hours about that, but that's not what we're here to talk about today. What we're here to talk about today is I got a call from a good friend of mine over at a label that has loads of numbers in the title. Those numbers being 4 and 40. So not but obviously one of the labels that I really, really appreciate and have appreciated for a long period of time. Realistically, one of the pioneering labels of this scene that we currently work in. And he hit me up basically saying, is it okay to get Mofaux on the show to talk about the kind of A&R stuff he's been doing with the label? So I would love to dive into this more deeply. Obviously, is this the first time you've got involved with an A&R role?
Yeah. I mean, I've always been active in music in general, bass music, whatever it may be, dance music. I've had I've touched base in a little bit of, I mean, it's not A&R, but just as in linking people together, maybe some, like a producer sent me a tune in the past for feedback, and I say, oh, you should get so-and-so to vocal it, and then I hook them up or whatever. There's always something going on, but as far as actual dedicated A&R for a label, yeah, 440 was the first.
Nice, man. I mean, with that then, how did you find kind of jumping into that as a role? Because just say the average listener will go A&R, they go, oh wow, that's a guy in a suit in sunglasses at the back of a venue. What does it kind of actually consist of from your experience?
I'll tell you what, when clubs open, that'll be me. I'll be at the back. I'll be at the back of Volks in my suit with my slick back hair. Well, to be honest, when Tom, who runs the label alongside James from Hybrid Theory, he basically literally kind of out of the blue, I've obviously released on the label before, a couple years back, and he hit me up during the first lockdown, and just out of nowhere, pretty much just said, look, we've had a chat, we're looking to grow our team a bit. We're looking for someone in A&R, someone that's in the scene already, someone that has a bit of knowledge with upcoming people and so. And yeah, just reached out to me. And I'll be honest, at first I was a bit like, I do not know how to do this. Because, for instance, I've got a couple friends that do it. Like Chris does it for, Chris is in Tengu, does it for Yosh. Yosh Pitt, he's like A&R for that. And then we've got Josh, obviously Gunn. Is he counted as A&R?
Yeah, we could kind of
everyone's a bit of an A&R for South Point, but just knowing the kind of time and effort that goes into it, I was a bit like, right, this is going to be a bit of a job. But it was during the first lockdown. I'd already picked up my illustration then.
So I remember you came on Brekkie and we were talking a lot about design work and how that had all been kicking off. So yeah, it's almost like double stringing the bow. This is it.
It was around about that time, a bit after that Tom messaged me, and I was like, well, got all this free time, I've got to fill it with something. I'm doing my music, doing my art. Why not try A&R? I kind of gave him a disclaimer. I was like, look, I'll happily give this a go. I haven't actually got prior experience in it officially, but I think we could make it work. And here we are, and it's going good.
It looks like it's going good, mate. I mean, this is the thing. I look at 440 now, as I always have done, as one of the most consistent labels out there. That's how I always describe them, whether it be reviewing them, whether it be listening through the kind of catalogue or just looking through promos that have been sent out. To me, they've always been one of the super consistent and kind of stalwart labels, I feel, within this bass scene. How did it feel kind of getting involved with a project of that magnitude? I mean, you're involved with most of the big projects now. I've just realised.
I've got my finger in a lot. It's great, to be honest. It's kind of like the same feeling when 440 first approached me for my first release with them years back. It was like I put up a whip or something on my Instagram and James messaged me, and it's like that same feeling, because 440 for me, I mean, back years and years, they released Bondax, who was like one of my favourite old producers they were, and they've released Notion, Holy Goof, like all these people.
Everyone's
Chris
kind of
Lorenzo,
gone through there. Everyone's kind of gone through there at some point.
Like the early days of bass when the tunes were like emerging and people were just getting used to the new UK bass sound with like Chris Lorenzo, etc. 440 was there. 440 was the one pushing it to begin with. And so to join a label like that had the history in this scene in the UK and the radio support and everything, I loved it, mate. I loved it. And I've DJ'd for them in like Fabric before. I've DJ'd for 440 before doing the A&R, like a couple of things. Just being involved, it's the same as being like involved with South Point. I love it, you know, having that history to the.
I bet you like the behind the scenes stuff as well.
Love it, I do, mate. I do a lot of artwork, obviously, you know, for like different labels. So I do it for Yosh, I do a bit for Grottenham, do a bit of like all these so I see these tunes coming through and I'm watching all these separate labels grow and I'm kind of just in the middle working with everyone. It's great. Yeah, it's really cool.
I mean, this is the thing. If we compare it to, say, like a year and a half ago on a kind of behind-the-scenes level, obviously, you've been primarily a producer and DJ the majority of the time. Yeah. Obviously, you've dabbled in the kind of art sort of side of things. You've always had a very kind of obvious eye for kind of design and visual kind of elements to things. But, like, it must be crazy kind of looking back and going, you know what, I was kind of on the outside, and now I am very much on the inside.
Yeah, I'm very much stuck inside it all. But I love it. It's a bit trickier now because, like I said, I took on all of these new projects during lockdown. Now I'm back to work. It's a different kind of thing. Yeah. But I'm still finding time for it, and it's just the same as when I used to go home, make a tune. Now one day I might come home, make a tune. One day I might come home, scout for some new music, talk to artists, blah blah blah. Just split it up amongst the week, and it makes it
Definitely.
Loving it.
Lovely, man. It's good to see it. I can kind of see it in you as well. I can see you're more kind of up and at 'em.
Love it.
Which is always really enjoyable. Okay, cool. So kind of I'm looking forward then. You are very much involved on that A&R sort of side of things. How often would you say you kind of are having these conversations with artists and kind of going, cool, here you go. We like the sound of this one. Let's get it out on 440.
So you get the submissions that trickle through. It's basically me and James. I mean, Tom's very much involved as well, but I think as far as keeping an ear out right now, because Tom's pretty much in charge of the label business, whereas me and James have a bit more time to look for these artists. The emails trickle through. You get the demo submissions. Some are great, some need improving, some just are good tunes but aren't right for the label, so you get them. But then also, there is so many upcoming producers at the minute that you're kind of spoiled for choice in a way. It's more down to narrowing what I want to look for rather than struggling for submissions or struggling for finding the tunes, because they're all out there. So many new producers, especially since lockdown. I feel like everyone's kind of had time to step up the game a bit. So it's not like I'm not spoiled for choice, but it's more, actually picking the right ones. Trying not to say yes to everyone, which is a difficult thing, especially when I was starting. I've only been doing this like however many months. Right at the beginning, I was happily prepared to say yes to anyone that kind of came through. I was like, oh, I need to prove myself now.
Music.
Yeah, they've just taken me on. I need to make sure I have some songs under my name. But it only took a couple months before I became a lot less stressed about that. I'm more concerned about what I want to do, what kind of sound I want to look out for, for the label.
I mean, it's so interesting to kind of hear, and I love hearing about things like behind the scenes and the sort of like, almost like the network of kind of like, I suppose, label staff, because a lot of people cross over and do things for different people. It's almost like this kind of, do you know how I see it? It's almost like bar staff, where bar staff kind of have this community where they all work in different, work in different bars and are kind of on a rotation. Kind of similar to, I suppose chefs as well, kind of people do things in different places.
Why not?
There's a lot of similarities between food and music. I don't know why I always bring that up. But we are going to jump into one of these absolute bangers that is, I don't know if this one's out yet or forthcoming. I genuinely can't remember.
Which one?
This is George the Fourth, which we've agreed is how we are pronouncing IV.
IV, everyone. It's definitely 4, isn't it?
Definitely 4.
I've gone a bit blank this morning.
Yeah. But this one goes by the name of Getting Your Love. Talk to me about this tune, man. It's an absolute belter.
Yeah, lovely tune. This, I actually did the artwork for this one as well. It's Yeah, I love this side of 440 because you have the bassline side, you have the house, and the more garage side, and I think the garage side is where 440 are very strong.
Solid.
Yeah, very solid. They've got a very solid roster of garage producers, and the tunes, they just always bang. So yeah,
entirely, man. I mean, this is something I always say whenever I'm doing kind of Juno reviews or work on 3000. The main thing I always seem to say is the consistency of the garage releases in particular.
Yeah,
it's so high with 440, and I feel it's only going to get higher with yourself involved.
Exactly.
So there we go. That's what we love to see. Right then, people, we're live inside the building. Just gone 9:15 here on Trickstar Radio. It is breakfast with KXVU. Mofaux's in the building with me. Before we jump into this one, what are the socials for people to get involved with?
What, for me or for 440?
Let's do that.
Well, me, if you want Mofaux, MOFAUX, just to throw you off with the spelling on everything, just search it, Facebook, Instagram, SoundCloud, whatever. 440 is 4, the word, FOUR, and then 40, the number. Look them up, Twitter, Instagram, whatever you want, we're all there.
There we go, that's what we like to hear. Let's get into this one then. George IV with Getting Your Love. Keep it locked, it's breakfast.
This is Breakfast with KXVU, bringing you their morning flavours on Trickstar Radio.
Trickstar Radio.